It's just one thing I think I would like to say, about what happened this past weekend with the shooting in the synagogue.
Mhm.
Anti-Semitism has been alive and well and undercover, and now it's coming back to the forefront.
And I think, unfortunately, Davida, what we're dealing with is, for so long, it was kind of maybe suppressed. People did it, but it was suppressed.
Yeah,
but now we're in the age of the Kardashians and Real Housewives of Atlanta and stuff like that. And people think it's okay to come out and just say what's on their mind and say ugly things, and the world is going to not be upset at them if they do these things, or they can duke it out. But what they don't understand is when they say those things, it really does hurt people. And when you duke it out, somebody goes to jail. So life is not a Real Housewives of Atlanta, and it's not Kim Kardashian and whatever the other Kardashians are. There's real world problems that are caused because people say these things and think these things. Well, so I think we'll go through a season.
Yeah, and I can remember growing up in the 60s, and we were going across the park, past the park, and that the KKK were in their whites having their meeting.
Yep.
That's typical South.
I'm not quite that old, but I remember, like, barely. But let's go ahead and get started. We are actually live on YouTube. So I want to welcome everybody to day one of the email marketing boot camp. This is going to be really fun. And I think this is going to be more laid back because there's not so much pressure to learn, click here, click here, click here. We're going to talk a lot about some ideas about email, just some suggestions about what you can do with email, how to get you some good headlines, how to get you some good body emails, right? The body of your emails, get some good stuff in there. And how do you keep these guys excited about your emails coming out? So we're going to talk about all those things in the next 7 days. And we're going to work a little bit in Mailing Boss to make sure you understand the concept of tags, about automating and segmenting. And we may actually get to play with a little bit of that as well. And I'll teach you how to tag and how to send out a special email based on the tags that you've set up. So all of that is really, really exciting. I can't wait to show you. But to get us started, I just want to kind of go over a couple of things. The first one is, and I've got a whole list of things I'm going to cover today, so I'm going to try really hard to keep it to an hour, but you guys know me. I can talk. If there could be a post, and it could be like not even answering me back, and I would still be talking to the post, and I'd be explaining something to the post. So, but I will try my very, very best. But what we're going to cover is a lot of neat stuff about email marketing, and I have used the new magazine app to actually put together information about what we're going to cover, and you guys will get a copy of that at the end of the training. So you'll get like everything that we cover in magazine format. So I'm going to kind of show you what we've got. So let me share my screen. And we'll go through here to the magazine. And this is the actual cover of the magazine. And all of you guys can say, wow, Shelly, look at that. So I've got the power of email marketing, how to build email lists and create successful email marketing campaigns by Shelly Turner, the Builder all Diva. And then if I click this little arrow here, it opens it up just like a magazine, right? That's so cool. And it's got a disclaimer in there. And it's got about the author, which is me. And then I click the arrow again, and we've got the introduction. And that's actually where we're going to start today, is we're going to go through the introduction, and we're going to go through chapter 1 of this little ebook. And then as we continue, we'll actually keep going through this book, and you guys will have this as a resource at the end. So let me go ahead and get started by talking about the introduction to what we're going to cover. So first of all, email marketing is actually not a new concept. You guys know this. It's been around for quite some time. We've used email marketing a lot, and there used to be a time that when you actually did email marketing, that a good percentage of your emails were open. And that's because not everybody had a ton of email, right? It's not like today. I probably got 10 Gmail email accounts. 10, easy, probably more like 15. And then every single domain that I have has multiple emails on that, because I always do 3 emails for every single domain. I do a support at, and then the domain name, admin at, and then the domain name, and then Shelly at, and the domain name. So every single domain of mine has those 3 emails associated with it. And that's so that when I build a website, those are the emails that I use for support, for admin, and for direct messaging me. So those are my standard emails that I set up. So way back in the day, back when we were chiseling on rocks to send out letters, we actually didn't get that many emails. But today we get a lot. And I'm just going to tell you how many unread emails I have right now. I have 126,045. Seriously, 126,045. And I'm not lazy. It's just that I get so many emails, and I don't want to, I'm funny about some of the emails. I know they're junk mail, and it would be just so easy, just swipe and they're gone, right? iPhone makes it easy, swipe, 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 and they're gone. But I can't help but go, I don't want to delete those, because those are perfect emails to teach me how to put an email together, right? So the OCD part of me says, don't get rid of it, Shelly, don't get rid of it, because you're going to look at that and you're going to see it as an example of what you should do to make a good email, right? Now, that's not to say that once I do go through some of those emails, some of them are crap, right? Some of them are really bad, but some of them give me great ideas on what to do for emails. So I have a really hard time. I guess I'm an email hoarder, right? I don't really hoard a whole lot of stuff, but computer stuff and emails I hoard. But they'll give you a great idea of what a good email is and what a bad email is. So before you hit that delete, don't be like me. Don't keep all of them, but keep some of them so you can get an idea of what you think a good email is and what a bad email is. Now, my idea of a good email may not be your idea of a good email, because I really like plain text email. I don't really like a whole lot of fancy schmancy stuff. Some of my favorite people that I get emails from, it's just plain text. They just type and they type some more and they type some more. There's no images, there's no video things, there's not a ton of links. They just type. And they do like stories or stories about themselves, about their company, about something they experienced. And to me, those are fun ones to read. And then there's always somewhere in there, there's some value. So I know when I open it and look at it, there's going to be value for me. So those are the types of emails that I like. But I remember a time when I wasn't an email marketer and I wasn't a digital marketer, that the emails that I liked were those real pretty ones, right? Like you can get from Eye Contact and Constant Contact, right? That have the templates and they've got the color and they've got the boxes and they've got information in the boxes and it looks all professional. Those are the ones that I liked. But it was because I could see immediately, you know, if there's a new sale at Belk's or a new thing that I wanted at Walmart or something like that. But it's different for me now. I'm a marketer. And so for me, I want information and I want valuable information. So all those pretty emails don't mean anything to me anymore. It's all about who's sending me stuff that's valuable to me. So the whole idea of email is kind of changing, right? It's not new anymore. We're overwhelmed with email. So to get in there and get actually seen and heard, you have to be creative. You have to develop a way to get their attention. And nowadays that's a lot different than it used to be, for sure. So we will look at that over the next 7 days together. So what are some of the new methods that we use to get their attention? How do we get them to see us and hear us and pay attention to us? Well, one of them is personalization. How many of you guys get emails and when you open it up, it says, "Hello, friend"? Do you keep reading? Usually not, right? You're like, oh my God, seriously? They couldn't even do an F name in there? That's just like email marketing 101. personalization is really, really important. And when you open your email and it says, hello, Shelly, well, I'm going to go to the next line for sure, because they're starting to create a relationship with me. And anytime you can call them by name, that kind of skips you ahead a little bit, right? You don't have to fight so hard to get their attention because you've called them out by name. To me, it's almost like when mom used to yell from the back of the house, Shelly! It didn't matter where I was. If I heard that word, right? If I heard my name said like that, I snapped to attention. And that's kind of how the email marketing is. If you say, hello, Shelly, they snap to attention a little bit more because they've gotten to see your name, their name in that email, and you're starting that idea of know, like, and trust. And we'll talk more about that in a little bit. The other new method is segmentation. Segmentation is a really cool thing we can do inside of Mailing Boss. We can start segmenting our users based on whatever actions they take or whatever actions they don't take. So we can set up a segment that says, everybody that's opened an email from me, I want to send them this email. Or everybody that has not opened an email from me, I want to send them this email. Okay, so we can start segmenting out these people and only sending to certain groups. I can also set up a rule inside of Mailing Boss that says everybody on this list that has a Gmail account, I'm going to send them a special message. Everybody on this list that doesn't have a Gmail account, I'm going to send them this message. So you can really start to segment out. I can also do everybody on this list whose first name starts with the letter A. I don't know why you would do that, but you can do that. So there's a lot of neat things that you can do to segment your list to start really targeting people. And then, of course, we've got tags. So we can set up tags on people and then send out emails based on those tags. So if they open an email, they get a tag. If they click a link, they get a tag. If they visit a specific page in your funnel, they get a tag. And then based on those tags, we can send out emails and we can say everybody that has this tag that indicates they were on this website page, I want them to get this email. Okay, so we have that capability. So we're really starting to really target the people that we want to send our emails to. Okay, so segmentation is another neat thing that's happening now that didn't happen back when I was chiseling on rocks with, a hammer. We also have a lot of people that are no longer getting their emails on desktop. They're doing it all on mobile. In fact, almost every single email I get is on mobile. I rarely actually get on desktop to do my email. The only time I do is if there's a special link and I'm too lazy to try to copy it and get it over onto my computer. So I'll just check my email on the desktop just so I can get to that link and click that link directly. That's usually the only time that I actually access my email on my computer. 99.9% of the time, I would say I'm on my mobile. That's huge, right? There used to be a time that you could basically only get it on desktop, and only the really, really smart people that knew how to do the SMT and POP3 stuff knew how to get it on their phone. But now it's actually really easy to get it on your phone. And then the other thing that's really changed a lot is the inbox versus the spam box. Used to be like every email went into the inbox. In fact, there wasn't even a thing called a spam box. That was way back in the very beginning. All of you guys are like, wow, those were the days. I know, they were the days. But now we've got that spam box, and it's getting harder and harder to get into the inbox. Because it's looking for your IP address and to see if it's blacklisted, your domain to see if it's blacklisted. It's looking at the words that you're using in your email to see if you've got a bunch of spam words in there. And if it does, it's going to ship it out into the spam box. There's a lot of things it's looking at to decide if that email is worthy of getting into the inbox or does it need to go into the spam box. And because people get so much spam these days, they rarely actually check their spam box, right? Because you guys can imagine if I've got 126,000 unread emails, I don't even want to know how many I have in my spam box. Don't even want to know. But I catch myself sometimes when I'm looking for an email. In fact, it was either yesterday or today. My days are running together. but I needed an email and it wasn't coming to my inbox. And I kept hitting refresh and hitting refresh and hitting refresh, and it wasn't coming into the inbox. And then it finally dawned on me, Shelly, why don't you check the spam folder? And sure enough, I jumped into the spam folder and there it was. And this is a pretty reputable company that I was supposed to be getting an email from, and it shipped it right into spam. So even the reputable companies are not immune from getting into that spam box, just because the rules are different, right? Not back from when we were doing this at the beginning, real easy. Now it's very hard to get into that inbox, and very easy to get into the spam box, and harder to get out of that spam box. The best option you have to get out of that spam box is to encourage your subscribers to whitelist your email. And if they whitelist your email, then it will be routed into the inbox. And then the next thing that's actually really big right now, and this is going to get bigger and bigger, and that's reputation. And reputation is influenced by a lot of things. It's going to be influenced by your IP address, whether it's blacklisted, your domain, whether it's blacklisted. But the other thing is how many emails are you sending out? Are they bouncing? And by bouncing, that means, were they able to be delivered? Or could it have possibly been a fake email and it bounced back? All that information is kept on your email server. So when you send an email out, the receiving email company gets that information, and they can say, oh, wow, this guy has a 50% bounce rate. He must be sending out spam, so we're going to ship it to the spam folder. Also, the other things that influence reputation is what's your open rate? So when you send out emails, how many people actually open the emails? That's huge, right? If you don't have very many people opening emails, you don't have a warm list, and you're just sending out emails to send out emails, right? You've just got a list and you're just sending. And the email services can see that information now comes with the email. And then the last one is, are they clicking links? When they do open it, the ones that are opening your emails, are they clicking your links that are in the emails? So if you get deliverability, that means it gets to where it's supposed to be going, and you get those emails open, and you get your links clicked, your reputation starts to go up. And when that reputation goes up, you have a higher chance of getting into the inbox. But reputation is going to be bigger and bigger as this email thing continues to go on, because these providers need to figure out ways that a person like me doesn't have 126,000 unread emails in their inbox, right? You can imagine 126,000 emails, many of those are spam. They just didn't hit the spam box. They figured out a way, by building up their reputation, getting emails delivered, getting links clicked, they've figured out a way to get into that inbox. And unfortunately, that made me have a whole heck of a lot of spam in my inbox. So they're going to get more strict and more strict. So I'm warning you, get ready. Because whatever you learn with me in the next 7 days, it will have to go through even more training as you learn the new things that are coming out to sidestep inbox and send you to spam for whatever reason. So just get ready to learn more new things constantly about email, because the providers are constantly trying to improve the email experience. So when we talk about email marketing, we also need to remember that the email list that you're building is not just about creating a list, right? And that's the easy part, actually, is creating the list. You can create a list really easy, and you can get a lot of people to sign up for a list. But that doesn't guarantee that that list is going to have value, right? Because you're going to have to do a couple things with that list. You're going to have to first set up that list. That's the easy part. Maintaining is probably one of the most challenging parts, because you want to make sure that you're maintaining your list so that you're monitoring what's bouncing and getting them off your list, and then monitoring what your open rate is. So how many people are opening those emails, and then what your click-through rate is. If you've got links in there, are they clicking your links? And if they're not, why not? Why are they not opening your emails? Why are they not clicking your links? And all that's a process where you look at your emails, you look at the subject line, you look at the body, You look at everything to try to figure out what is going on. Why aren't they clicking why aren't they opening? Why aren't they clicking? And sometimes it boils down to you're just not giving them anything, right? I have many email people that send me stuff. Pat Flynn, I love Barbara Ling, Cam Jennings, many. And when I get emails from them, I'm excited about opening them because there's going to be value in there. And you couldn't pay me to unsubscribe from a Pat Flynn email list or a Cam Jennings email list because I know I'm going to get value. But there's a whole lot of other lists that I'm not getting value from, and I'd be like perfectly okay to unsubscribe. So you have to figure out how to speak to your audience and give them what they want to hear. So you do that by creating subject lines and then putting in value into those emails that mean something to them, so that when they see that you've sent them an email, they're like, wow, I just got an email from Claude. I must open it. And Claude, I've been watching your lives. You need to mimic what you're doing in those lives in your email sequences. That needs to be you all the way. And you need to, put your spin on there, put your flair, put your personality in there. And when that flair matches those videos that you're doing, you're going to have people that stay tuned, and they will want to see your emails, and they will want to connect to those videos and learn. So I think when you do all that together, it's going to be an amazing thing that you're doing. And it already is amazing. And same way with all of you guys, your emails have to match your personality, your flair, the person that you're trying to talk to, and make it so that they want to see more of you. They want to hear more from you. And they know that you're a person that's likable, you're knowledgeable, you're an expert in the area that you are covering, and they just want to know more, right? Leave them wanting more from you. And when you start doing that, you're developing that know, like, and trust factor. They're getting to know you. They're getting to like you, and not everybody's going to like you, and that is okay, right? Shelly's learned just the past couple weeks, not everybody likes her. I actually knew that before, but I really knew it in the last couple weeks. But the reality is that not everybody's going to like you. But the ones that do, when you're consistent with your emails and you're providing value and you're being your authentic self, those people that do like you will stick with you through thick and thin. And they will be there to read those emails, and they'll open those emails, and they will click those links because you've been consistent, you've given value, you've created that know, like, and they trust you now. And then when you send them out an offer, they're ready for it, right? So we always want to make sure that our emails are relevant to the people that are getting our emails, because that's all part of that know, like, and trust factor. Okay. And then email, this is another interesting thing about email. We've got a lot of people that are talking about funnels, right? And they're talking about chatbots, and they're talking about SMS text messages, and they're talking about WhatsApp, which all of them are fantastic. But when you talk about email, that is a core communication method. Imagine if we took away email. How would we recover our passwords for our bank account? Might be SMS, but might not, right? Most of us, when we recover our passwords, we get them through email, right? When I get notifications for, I don't know, I just got a notification that I was late on a credit card. I've never late on a credit card. It was just one we skipped. And when I got the notification, it was by email. They sent me an email and said, hey, Shelly, you forgot to pay this. And imagine if I didn't have that email set up. How would they contact me? Right? Email is a core communication method. And if you took it away, it would be replaced. And it would be replaced by something like maybe SMS text messaging. But SMS text messaging is actually really expensive when you talk about that versus email, because you have to pay for SMS. Whatever provider you use, you're going to be paying for text messaging. But email is pretty much one flat fee, especially with Builderall, one flat fee, and you get unlimited subscribers, unlimited messages. So way less expensive than if you try to jump into the SMS arena. So it is a core communication. And we use it all the time for setting up appointments, appointment reminders, getting information about how to get into the dashboard of a product that you purchased, or how to get into the back office of some program that you're using. And then, of course, password recovery. So it's a core communication that's not going to go away. So you have to figure out if you're using chatbots, if you're using websites, if you're using webinars, if you're using SMS, if you're using WhatsApp, all of those are supposed to be used in conjunction with email. Email has a value. So you want to continue to use email. Nobody dump email. It's not going away. If you dump it, you're losing a really good marketing tool. So now let's talk about chapter 1. I've actually gone through most of the introduction, so let me take a look at it with you. So there's our introduction, and I went through and talked a little bit. We've got some overlap there. I've actually talked to the developers, and they're working on that for me. And that puts us to chapter 1. And chapter 1 is what's email marketing and why does your business need it? And the first thing I want to cover with email marketing is a couple of words that you need to know before we get started. And the first one is a regular or a broadcast email. So when we talk about a regular or a broadcast email, that means that it's an email that goes out one time on a specific date and time. And it's going to go to everybody, either everybody on the list, or it goes to like a segment or a certain group that's tagged or something like that. But it's a one-shot deal. You set it up and it goes out on a day at a specific time. Doesn't matter when they signed up. If they are on the list, they get it at that date at that time. Okay, that's a regular or broadcast email. Inside of Builderall in Mailing Boss, you see it as a regular email. Outside of Mailing Boss, it's typically called a broadcast email. Okay, write that down because you want to remember that. The next one is an email sequence. And an email sequence is actually made up of one or more email campaigns. An email campaign is one single email. So an email sequence can be one or more email campaigns. Okay, that one's another important one because a lot of times you'll hear me say email campaign, and it's hard for new users sometimes. They're thinking that's multiple emails, but an email campaign is a single email. And then a sequence can be one or more campaigns. Okay, you'll hear me use those words a lot. So make sure you write those down so we remember them. Okay. Any questions so far, you guys? Dominic.
Okay, so let me see if I understand this. So you wouldn't market your cold leads on email. You would only go for like your warm leads?
I might have a list that would, if I have a list that has cold leads, then I might have that on a separate list. And as I maybe get them warmed up, then maybe move them over to a more active list, a warm list, so that I've got a better delivery rate on that list, right? So I might use one domain that I don't care about. If I trash it, it's not going to hurt it. And then move them over to the active list where it's got a different domain that I want to protect. Does that make sense? Because everybody's got a cold list, right? It takes a while to warm it up. And
absolutely.
You want to make sure that you're not risking a good domain for that.
So it's a lot like to really take it back in time, it's a lot like cold calling.
It is a lot like cold calling. And your cold list is going to get like a 1 to 3% open rate. I mean, it's just going to be a really small amount. But if you've got a really good warm list, you can get anywhere from a 10 to 20% open rate, which is really good because that means they're looking at your message and you've got potential out of that 10 to 20% to actually make a sale once you make an offer, once you send them an offer. Okay, so there's a pretty big difference between a really cold list and then one that you're really working to keep warm. And you're going to bounce them back and forth because you're going to have that cold list and you're going to find people that are, they're interacting, they're clicking links, they're doing all those things. So you move them over. And then in the one that's warm, you're going to find people, they're not clicking a darn thing and they're not opening a darn thing. So you're going to move them over to the cold list. So you'll bounce them back and forth as they either take action or they don't take action in your list.
And we can accomplish that with the tags and the list hopping.
You can actually, yes, and you can make rules as well. Yep, absolutely.
Very nice. Thank you.
You're welcome, Karen.
Wasn't sure I was still going to ask it, but what if I use like a Gmail for my cold leads? And so that, because that can easily be replaced and it's not permanent in my opinion. And then have in that Gmail an opt-in for the real list that I want them in.
Yeah, you can absolutely do that. That's not a really bad idea at all. Get them on an email that you're not worried about, right? And you're not worried about reputation, because that's going to be king really soon. That's going to be the bomb diggity. You're not going to get in unless you've got a good reputation. It's already a problem, right? But I think it's going to get harder and harder. So if you can use just a dispensable email in trying to find those people that are warm, and then once you find those people that are warm, get them moved over to your warm list, and then you've got a warm list that you are building up that reputation for that domain to be able to send and get into that inbox rather than spam.
Yeah, because that way they can double opt in and they can whitelist it all, and then that should leave that actual domain, a real domain, to be a good reputation. That's what I'm hoping anyway. That's my goal.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea at all. That's a really good idea. I like it. Kanan, do you have a question? Did I say that right?
Hi, Ashley.
Hi.
Yeah, this is first time I'm watching your webinar live, and thank you for your invitation. Hey, awesome. I'm one of your fans. Okay. Yeah. Let me come to the point. The thing is that, see, I'm using my custom funnel for getting leads for Buildroll, and I have separate mailing list for them. I'm doing this email marketing, but unfortunately, what happens is that all my emails going to spam only. None of my girls. Then after I made a separate list for making a test. I changed to my company email and professional email I used. I done the C name, A name changes, etc. Consider the domain with the Builderall, everything I did, and I added 2 of my friends in my mailing list with the same company email. Then also it's going to spam, and I made a lot of support tickets. But what I got I think one of the tickets you also answered, I think, in the regarding email. Yeah, I remember. From there onwards, I remember your name. And what I got from advice from the Builderall support is that, first of all, I have to send 100 mails. Next week, I have to send 200 mails. Next week, I have to send 300 mails. Like that, I have to improve the credibility. Then I ask only one question. If all the things goes to the spam list, then what is the use of sending all this to spam? Only my score is getting down. But there is no answer for that. Actually, I came into this webinar, just want to clarify, just want to understand how this email marketing is, because I am a digital marketer for last 18 years and I know how to do it. That is why I came to Builderall itself, because I want to do marketing.
That's great. And I'm thinking you can, but I think that and I don't know a whole lot about how you set everything up, but my worry is that you use the same domain for the emails and you had that reputation already because it was going into spam. And when it's going into spam, it's really hard to build that reputation back up, right? To keep it coming back up. Now, I can't say that it's an exact number of 100. It may be as little as 10. You get 10 emails to go out and you get them to whitelist it, open, and click a link, and that'll start increasing your rate. You also have to make absolutely sure that of whatever you're sending out, there's not bounces. And so you want to really condition your list to keep bounces to a minimum. And all of that is just, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work to get your reputation built back up if it's been negative. So that's the only thing I can think of, because Buildraw's changed their DMARC, DKIM, and SPF records, so that on everyone's, it's all authenticated, it's all set up correctly. So the next step is to really condition your list to be able to make sure that it gets into the inbox.
But the challenge what I'm facing is that how I can contact all of my customers and ask them to whitelist me.
Well, you can send out an email. Send out an
That
email.
goes to spam.
Even if it's going to go into spam. That's right. You're right.
When you're sending the email, that's going to spam.
Every once in a while, don't check spam like I do, and it doesn't take a whole lot of whitelist. It does.
I used to check, but how I can tell my clients to check it?
But
that is the challenge what I'm facing.
Another thing
See, I made a separate list for 10 emails. All those 10 emails are my emails itself. Still, it's going to spam. Even
really,
though
and that's what I do. That's actually what I do. Is I have like 10 or 20 test emails, and when I have a new domain that I'm setting up, I'll send to all of those emails, and then I'll make sure I access them, I whitelist them, I open them, and I click on the links. And I just don't have problems with them going to spam anymore, because I've been on all the platforms, because I have Gmail, I have Hotmail, I have other emails that are from different domains on like GoDaddy and on one-on-one and then iPower. So I have all of these emails in all different places, and I can go in there and actually whitelist, open, and click links, and that helps my reputation a lot. And it's usually between 10 and 20.
So what you're coming to express is that we have to make such a planning all the way to get the reputation. Keep sending some test mails.
I do it, but it's because I don't have usually when I'm starting a new domain, I don't have 1,000 people to send out to and 1,000 clean people to send out to. So if I'm doing like social media explosion, that was one of the products that I created, and I didn't have 1,000 people that was in that niche that I wanted to send to. So I started a brand new domain, no reputation. So I went ahead and sent it to like 10 or 20 of my emails, whitelisted, opened, clicked the link, and now that reputation is up high enough that I haven't gotten any reports that the emails are going into spam.
But unfortunately, I'm not in a position to accept those explanations, because my domain is around 8 years or 9 years old, and I am doing email marketing with that domains with other products like MailChimp, Aweber, and etc. Everything is going fine, but due to the expense, I came to Buildroll, because Buildroll is always awesome, and I have a lot of tools. I have a lot to promote. I get more benefits from Buildroll. But unfortunately, I got all the benefits. But only thing is that when I came to Buildroll, the email is going to spam.
Yeah, I without being real deep into it, I can't really. I mean, I've told you everything that I do.
Let me interrupt a little bit. I have a solution for that question.
Yeah.
Through a lot of headache, I had the same questions for you for years. It just dawned on to me. When you have your people opt in, they opt in, and then you send them to your thank you page. On your thank you page, you can do two things. Put a message there and telling them, go to your spam and check your spam folder, number one, or number two, even better, put a video with you there and tell them, do this, whatever, including go to the spam. And then they have to do that. And then you tell them what email it's coming from. It's coming, you're going to get an email from me from domainname.com. Check that and whitelist it. And you tell them all these steps, step by step, very precisely, so that way they can go do that. Now, I hope that answered the question. I don't mean to.
I think it's part of it.
But I have more questions, so I'm going to stop right there.
I think it's part of it because he's got existing subscribers, and that's probably the hard part, is sending out the emails out to them, and even having them like re-opt into another list and do the double opt-in and then do the email confirmation page. That's hard because it's going to go to spam. So that I know that's hard for him right now. New subscribers, definitely. Any new subscribers, you always want to have that email confirmation page, exactly like Gabriel said. And on that email confirmation page, you have step 1, check your email. Step 2, click on the confirmation link. Step 3, welcome to the list. And then in big bold letters, say, also be sure to whitelist our email so you can continue to get awesome deals from us. And then, like he said, have a video on how to do that. But all of that's important. That email confirmation page is what we use to condition our new subscribers. And we teach them right on the front end what they need to do. Now, the existing subscribers, that's harder because it's going into spam for them. But the other good thing is if you get new subscribers and get enough of them that are joining your list and whitelisting and opening and clicking links, then you're going to increase your reputation. And now those old subscribers that are there already, when your reputation increases, they'll start getting into spam as well, or getting into the inbox as well. So it's just a thing that you got to work through. Reputation is a hootenanny to try to deal with, no doubt about it. Go ahead, Gabriel.
I have more questions. I hope my Canon is done, so I don't want to take your space.
Kanan, did you have any other questions before we let Gabriel?
No, Builder is super awesome.
It is. You're right.
Only time I'm worried about this email only.
And we'll get you through this email thing. I think it's honestly, it just sounds like
especially the challenge. But I'm using my custom funnel, so I'm getting a lot of leads. I want that. I want to make all the system automation, and for that, this Facebook chatbot also helped me a lot because all the presentation questions, everything I can do in chatbot. But only thing is that when the client registers, my email is not reaching to them.
Mm-hmm.
Now, so I cannot ask them to, because I'm using my custom funnel.
Mm-hmm.
So when they register for the funnel, my mail not getting to them. That is what my challenge. How to make it happen.
Yeah. Well, hopefully by the end of this 7 days, you'll have a lot more tools to be able to condition that email list so we can get you into the inbox. And we'll just keep working at it and keep trying. Because again, it's kind of elusive. That inbox is tricky with that reputation stuff. And I'll be talking more about reputation as we go on. Okay?
Sure. Thank you.
Sure. And thank you, Gabriel. And Gabriel, you've got a couple of questions.
Yeah. Yes. I hope you don't mind. It's several questions because it's just nuts. I've been waiting for this bootcamp for a long time. Anyway,
I know you're like, let's do this.
Do you use different domains to send out, because this is the first step in the process. We got to send out emails. So we're going to have these problems that we just talked about. I know that. So we got to clean the list. We got to do a lot of things, so we can get them on the main list. So that way we have open rates, etc., bounces, click-through rates. And so we're going to have a clean list. But to get there is a few steps, I guess. So one question is, do we use different domains? Or do you use different Gmails or Hotmail, whatever? And we're going to get a lot of bounces there. And then, we're working ourselves through, get them through the good, So what do you suggest, my question is? Should we use different Gmails or should we use an actual domain name to send from?
Well, I would send from an actual domain name. Whatever domain name I'm trying to condition and get that reputation up, then I want to definitely send, but I want it in my warm list, right? I want that in my.
No, but before that, we're talking cold email here. So not to damage that domain, because here's my unique domain, my perfect domain that I'm going to use to after I warm them up and I got the click-through rates and open rates and everything. Now I got to have them use this domain, and I don't want to mix this with my cold email, with my bad traffic and spam and blah, blah, blah. So over here, should I use different domains, different Gmail addresses, send this out?
You absolutely can. I would, and I do this. I have a cold email list, and these are the people that I don't consider very active. And I have it on a really weird domain that I'm like probably never going to use for an actual website. So I think the name of the domain is something like, oh my gosh, I own this domain.com. So,
something weird, yeah.
Right? So that's my cold email list. And I'm not conditioning that domain. I'm not trying to get a reputation. I've just got my list there. And then when I have people that are opening emails and they're responsive and they're clicking links and stuff like that, then I can actually copy them over or move them over to the other list because I know they're active. And then I can have them a part of that active list. And then of course on my active list, I'm trying to monitor that as well to find people that are not active so I can move them off of that list. So if you can set up a rule that says if they don't open an email within 10 days, move them, right? So you can send that, you can automate that so that if they're not active on that list, you can get them the heck off of that list so they don't hurt that domain. Right.
So do you, yeah, makes sense. But do you do this, you're setting the whole process automated, even though I'm using Gmails or different domains here? And do you use Mailing Boss or do you use a different platform?
I use Mailing Boss for all of it.
For everything. And then then once you do, you have open here where you have a click here, you use tags from here, and then automatically you move them to your perfect domain or your main domain, I would call it. Or you do it manually.
I have a rule set up and I can't remember what the rule is, but it is checking for activity. And I'm sure it's if they open a campaign. I think it's if they open a campaign. If they open an email, then go ahead and send them to this list.
So automatically you're setting up rules to send them to here, correct?
Yeah. Yes.
So that's automation. Okay, great. So we got that. And then one last question, because I know you're going to go more and more through this and I'm going to get it. Do you use the same specific rules, etc., for mobile, like for desktop, or do you have to keep different things in mind when it comes to mobile as far as email goes?
No, I don't have any separate rules for mobile.
No, so it's the same exact thing, right? What we just talked about. So that way, because you mentioned earlier that, the mobile, a lot of people get emails on mobile, and then, is there a different format, different, No.
If they open an email on desktop, it sees that. If they open an email on mobile, it sees that. It doesn't really differentiate between, they open it on mobile versus they open it on desktop. So if you've got something that triggers after they open an email, it doesn't matter where they open it at. As long as they open it, it'll trigger and it'll move them to the next list, whatever list you want. Okay.
And then if we do what we just talked about, so let's say that email, I send out the email, I tell them, hey, go to check your spam folder, like I just mentioned earlier, and then they go to the spam, they find my email, they click on it. Does it mean that now he's white label, or does it mean that the Google and everybody out there, they're looking at my email that, hey, this guy is whitelisted, or does it improve my click-through rates, open rates?
Absolutely improves your reputation.
Even though it went to spam, correct?
Yes, because you're the email provider that is receiving the email sees that as whitelisted. Now, it'll improve your reputation for Gmail.
Oh.
Right? So Gmail sees it as whitelisted if they did it on Gmail. So you've got points for Gmail. So then you want to get somebody to whitelist it on Hotmail, and then you want to get somebody to whitelist it on whatever other thing. And that's why sometimes when you're sending out emails, have you guys ever checked in RainLoop? Do you ever get anything in spam in RainLoop? No, I've never gotten anything in spam in RainLoop. And it's because it doesn't check that reputation like Gmail does. And so when you get something sent to Gmail, you're like, you're supposed to be like even, but I think with Gmail, you actually start off in a hole, right? So as soon as you get onto Gmail and somebody whitelists you, that tells Gmail, hey, this is a valuable email to this person. So plus 1 point for this domain, right? And then somebody else whitelists it on Gmail, and somebody else whitelists it on Gmail. And pretty soon you'll start to get a better reputation on Gmail, and you'll start hitting that inbox. It takes a little while.
Would this be a good solution? I'm just thinking out loud here. I'm sending my cold email to Gmail, whatever means I have here, different bogus domains, if you want to call them that way. And then I tell them, hey, go to spam, whatever. They find my email. Now they click this link. So this is going to be for double opt-in. Once they click on that, do I send them to my regular email or regular domain to re-opt-in again? Or do I tag them and now I move them to my actual domain and now it's all whitelisted? So from here on, I don't have any issues anymore?
Yeah, once they are confirmed in whatever list, and you either copy them or move them, when you do that, it goes to the next list as confirmed. So it carries all that stuff with it.
And that means that next time I send an email from this email or domain here, does that mean that I'm not going to go to spam anymore?
Not necessarily, because like in my case, I have a completely different domain, right? It's oh my gosh, I own this domain.com. So if I move them, I might be sending from a totally different domain like builderawdiva.com. So, but I won't move them unless that builderawdiva has worked up a reputation.
So it still might be a chance. So you still gotta keep on polishing them, talk to them.
You still want to polish. That's absolutely true. Yes.
Thank you for all the answers, Shelley.
You're so welcome. This is a really hard subject, and even for me, it's challenging, right? I do not. I wish I could tell you guys that I had a perfect score for hitting the inbox, but every once in a while, there are times when I hit that spam box and I freaking cannot figure out why. It doesn't even make sense. So it's hard for everybody. And with you guys at the very beginning trying to figure the ins and outs, it's definitely a challenge. But I'm going to tell you that once you get the email system set up, the next biggest issue is reputation and just conditioning that list and making sure you're getting rid of what I call the deadheads and then putting in people that are not deadheads. That way you're going to get the opens, you're going to get the link clicks, and you're going to get the white lists. So that's probably the name of the game right now, is to just condition those lists to make sure that you are getting those opens, you're getting those link clicks, and you're getting whitelisted. I think Madeline had a question, and then I'll go to Claude.
Yeah, I'm very new to this. I started a website, and I have one domain and one email domain.
Oh, yay!
And yeah, 100 subscribers.
Yay! Woohoo!
Yeah, but very few open. I have an email sequence of about 50 emails, but mostly 10 have open.
So Madeline, tell me just off the top of your head, what are some things you could do to get them to open those emails?
I don't know. Maybe better value.
Add value. That's exactly it. So can you give them a report that they might be interested in? Can you give them some type of freebie?
They have an opt-in page with a free ebook. I'm in the weight loss niche. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So that's like wide open for freebies, right?
Yes,
wide open for freebies. So
I was wondering, should I very many people are inactive. Should I move those to a separate list and continue?
I would, but I would continue to email them. But I would start to say, hey, if you would like to get more free stuff, be sure to whitelist us and be sure to do such and such. And when you consistently open our emails, we will send you some free stuff just because we love you.
Okay, yeah. Offer them more free stuff.
Exactly. So tell them, it's okay to tell them in an email, we're moving you to this list, but as soon as we see that you're opening more emails and you're clicking on our links, we'll move you to another list, or we'll upgrade you so that you get more free stuff from us. And then to offer that value if they take action and whitelist and take action and open those emails.
Okay. So what's your take on solo ads?
I think solo ads are fabulous, but you always want to make sure that whatever money you spend on solo ads, you're willing to lose it, because there's just absolutely no guarantee at all.
Right.
And I spent a couple $100 and got zero, zilch, nada, nothing. And then I've spent $50 and got way more leads and paid members than I did spending the $200. So
Okay.
it's really just, you never ever know. So you budget that money as money that you can afford to lose. And then if
Okay.
you get anything extra out of it, then it's great. And probably the biggest thing you're looking for in solo ads is leads.
Okay. Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
necessarily paid. You're just looking for leads. And once you get
Yeah,
the leads,
I got about 40% leads, but no
great.
no
So once
sales.
you get the leads, then it's your job through that email list
Yeah.
to get their attention and get them to buy.
Okay.
Yep.
Yep.
Absolutely. You're welcome. And we're glad to have you, Madeline. We're glad that you're here.
Thank you.
Claude, go ahead.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for having me, Shelly. I appreciate it. Look, the first thing I think is 10% open rate is pretty decent, right? 10%?
Oh, yeah.
That's not bad, right? So
For one
Madeline,
list, that's really good.
one list, yeah, that's really pretty good. My question was, would it be beneficial to create a subdomain and run a list from that subdomain?
I would not.
A cold list. That's the question. So if I have cold leads, right? If I have a bunch of
I would not, Claude, because it's going to reflect on the main domain.
Okay.
Yeah, it's always going to go back to that main domain.
All right. I thought so. I was just checking.
That's a really, really good question. And I've had people ask that question before. So that was really, really good. I'm going to go to Willie and then to Arlie.
Hello, how y'all doing today?
Hey, doing great. How are you doing, Willie?
All right. I have a business partner. What he had to do to keep his bounce rates down was put a captcha. When they put their email and their name down, they had to put that captcha in because I think he got like 250 emails from a robot.
That's exact. You have hit it. We'll actually talk about that more. We'll talk about CAPTCHA, and we'll also talk about the difference between a single opt-in and double opt-in and why one's better than the other. So we'll actually cover that in depth probably tomorrow or the next day. So you actually are prequeling what we're going to do. You're doing great. All right, Arlie.
Hello, Shelly. How you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
Good.
Good. I miss you. I want to be in Paris.
I know. Busy days, I was wondering, when you have sent this email confirmation, like the person doesn't click on this mail, so it's unverified in your list, which means that it doesn't receive anything.
That's true. Yes,
that's correct so far.
Yep.
Is there a way to set automatically or manually?
I think your microphone is rubbing up against something. It's kind of cutting out. So so try it again.
I was thinking about the fact that if the person didn't click on the email that you have in your inbox, so it's unverified.
Right.
So my question is there a way to resend something in order to them to get approved, or you have to do it manually?
I've always done it manually, but I did see the other day a support person said that there's a way to resend, but I haven't seen it yet. So my hope is that if I go through this 7-day course, that I will actually see that, but I haven't seen it yet. But all I do is just, I copy their name and put it into a notepad, and copy their email and put it into a notepad. And then I delete them. And then I just do new subscriber and just re-put them in. And
you delete them?
Yeah, I delete them. That's all you have to do is just delete them. And then you re-put them in, their name and their email, just like it was before. And that re-triggers everything so that they'll get that confirmation email.
So even if I have some people which are blacklisted for a wrong reason, because some are good reason, because the email is not correct, and sometimes it's a wrong email address, whatever. But sometimes some people I know personally, I keep having talk with them on the same email that they use into the mailbox. For some reason, this address became blacklisted for no reason, and they cannot receive anything.
So yeah, that's the first thing I would try then, is copy their name and their email over to Notepad and then delete them. and then go back in and add them as a new subscriber, and it should trigger that confirmation email. And then once they confirm, they'll actually be getting the sequence. So try
so
that
far,
out.
it's only a manual things to do.
Yeah, I have not seen the just like the resend confirmation. Again, I just saw it maybe a week ago that support somewhere.
I know. I've been searching for that, but
I know I have too, and I haven't seen it. So maybe I need to ask the question instead of thinking I'm going to find it. So I'll try to remember to ask the question, and maybe I'll actually find it so I can share it with you.
Okay. Of
but
course.
in the absence of a resend, you can delete and re-add them manually, and that should trigger the beginning of all of it again.
Because another question, you have shared many things. So if I can summarize, because I need some clear up my mind, is it better to have many different email into different companies, like to create different email?
I have many. Whenever I have a new thing that I'm doing, whether I'm promoting Builderall or I'm promoting Social Media Explosion, or I'm doing something for my jewelry company, or I'm doing this or that and the other, they're all the domains that are associated with that. And you guys would actually crack up, because now that we have that verify the domain and verify the email, whatever emails existed when we went through that process, they automatically verified for me. And for my Team Awesome people, the ones that are signed up in Team Awesome under me, I gave everybody on my first tier an email address that was their name at builderallteamawesome.com.
So I do that. I do that, and I opt in into my all my list. I opt in with all these different email address in order to have this email confirmation, and you will have those like dot blah blah of this address, whatever will be inboxing any other list or any other address from the same provider.
From the same domain.
That's the really trick of the day. So I have to create like 10, 20 of them.
Yeah. I've got a lot of them. And what's funny about it is every time I do a new email sequence, I have to do the drop down now to choose the email. And I have to like scroll down all these emails to find the one that I need.
Got it.
Yeah, so
the more efficient will be to create many addresses in many different providers than to opt in into your own list and just do the double click in every single ones. Then it will record good reputation. Because if I start to do some bad list and good list, and I will get lost because I'm already lost even asking this.
It's a little hectic. It is a little hectic.
Okay, thank you very much. Thanks.
You're welcome very much. Claude.
Really quickly, creating multiple quote unquote dummy email address. Like say I wanted to create Google, Hotmail, Ymail.
I have all of those.
Would those providers detect my IP address?
I haven't. If they do, I don't know if they do, because that's exactly the method I use to try to get my list condition. And so I'll go into I have a skydivingdiva@yahoo.com, and I'll send myself, I'll register under that email. And of course that sends the confirmation link. I confirm, and then I get the first message, and I make sure to open it up, and I make sure to click any links that are in there. And that tremendously helps me get into the inboxes. And so I have many Gmails. I have a few Yahoos. I have a Hotmail. I have GoDaddy email. So I have other domains that are on GoDaddy that I have the email set up, because I actually have WordPress sites still, because I have to have them. I know nobody kill me. I can't move them over to Builderall because there's WordPress plugins that I have to have. But I use those emails to actually go through and open the email and click the link. And then I have some stuff on iPower, which is another web hosting, and I have some emails there. So I send to that one and then open and click the links. And by the time I do, it sounds like it's a lot, but it's actually not that much, you guys. I just go through the list and sign them up as opt-in, and then I go in and check all my emails. And I've got my emails, I've got a folder on my bookmark toolbar that says emails. And I have all the links to get to all my emails right in that folder. And so when I'm doing it, I just go boink and go to that email, open the email, click the link. And then I go to the next one and go to that email, open the email and click the link. So it sounds like it's a whole big thing, but if you set it up, and hopefully I'll have plenty of time to show you guys how to set something like that up. It actually is really easy, and it helps your reputation. There's no doubt about it. It helps your reputation.
If you're concerned about your IP address and such, you could go someplace else, a coffee shop,
very true,
parking lot,
or you can do a proxy.
Have them all at a different location.
Yeah, or you could just do a proxy server. There's like a bazillion of those that hide your IP address and give you a different IP address. So you can literally just choose an IP address, and then when you do the next one, choose a different IP address, choose a different IP address. You can do that, but I haven't had
more fun to go to Starbucks.
I know, right?
But the other thing is, if you want to do it at home quickly, you could also, most people can get a hotspot off your phone. You can hotspot from your phone and then accept them. Just change your IP address. It's, like you said, you're more technical. I'm like way basic. What's the easiest way to do it?
You did great though. That's actually another idea, to be flip-flopping those IP addresses so that they're not able to see. But luckily I've done it, and I've had some really good luck with it. So I've been really happy with what I've been able to do. And again, it's about 10 to 20 emails. It's not that big of a deal. It takes me 30 minutes to get them all opted in, and then I have all of them listed on my little folder. So I just click there, go in, whitelist, open, click the link, and that one's done. I go to the next one, open it, click the link, whitelist, all that good stuff. And so I do that with all the emails, and then reputation is usually pretty good. Okay. And that's for a brand new domain that you're trying to get conditioned.
And then use friends and family, correct?
Yeah, I use a ton of friends and family, actually. There's a whole list of people that I will get to opt in for me. And then they'll go in and whitelist, open, and click links. And that works really well too. Willie?
This is kind of off the subject, but since we was going through that guess break-in last week.
Yeah, the DDoS.
Yeah. Something came across my mind is that some companies, they have hackers that try to hack into their own system before somebody else do it. So I don't know if they already got that in place.
Oh yeah. I've got all kinds of certifications in IT. I've got an MCSE and I've got a CCNA, and I've done the whole managing an entire network. And it doesn't matter what you've got in place. The hackers will find some type of vulnerability and then misuse that vulnerability. It doesn't matter. So for me, I used a sonic wall, and my sonic wall is a sophisticated firewall that blocks that kind of stuff. But it didn't matter. Every single day, when I had a DDoS attack or any other kind of attack, I would actually get a text message to my phone that would tell me, hey, there's something going on, you need to check it. We were a little bitty architectural signage company. We didn't mean anything to anybody. And we got 100 attacks a day. I mean, it was just like that. And we meant nothing to anybody.
I think you're not getting what I'm saying. They actually hire people.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. They'll if they do find a vulnerability or they don't, the next hacker that comes through, they can't see and try everything. And these are such sophisticated things with so many ports and so many layers and so many ways of getting in. And the DDoS attack is really a sneaky attack because it looks like people are asking for information from the server. And the only time that it really looks wrong is when there's so many of them that are asking. And then the server slows down because there's so many that are asking for information for the server. So it all looks normal. it's not a single point or a single computer or a single person. It's typically thousands of computers that don't even know they're infected, that are connecting and trying to get information from our servers. And we really don't realize what's going on until it becomes a massive attack that starts to slow things down. And there are things in place to prevent it, but they're so sneaky in the way they do it that there's just vulnerabilities no matter what. And the trick is figuring out what's happening, why it's happening, and how to shut it down.
Well, how I've always seen things, I see things from inside and out. So you can try to protect the inside, but sometimes you have to find out somebody trying to get in from the outside. Yep. So if they find anything that's vulnerable, they can tell you on the inside, this is what you need to do because I'm finding a loophole right here.
Right. But remember, when updates, the reason we get updates to our computers is because there's holes, right? So when you get Windows, do you get updates for Windows? Yes, we get updates often for Windows. And typically the reason we're getting updates is because there's holes in the system. And there's a delay between when they find the hole and when they have the update. The hackers are like 10 steps ahead. They're in there and they know those holes, they know where to find them. And that's kind of the challenge of all of it is the hackers seem like they're always one step ahead. And there's just not a whole lot of ways to prevent that. Having been in IT and dealt with this, it's actually not as simple as finding someone to find your vulnerabilities because they can't possibly find every vulnerability. You've got so many combinations of things that can happen between software, hardware, all the different ports that are used, all the different protocols that are used. There's just so many ways for them to get in. So they try their best, and you have to be proactive and have detection and deterrence. But many times they can still get in. It just doesn't matter. Davida?
Yeah, there's something that happened to me recently. I have got an HP, so I kind of use with HP.com their friend, you know, so that they can get in there. And I got a call that, oh, your contract is up, you do 100, and I wasn't really paying attention. And they got a hold of a bunch of stuff. I just had to close out some old credit cards and change numbers. They even got into my checking account and added a checking and
yeah, it's that kind of stuff too, Willie, for sure, where you've got people that are moderately educated in technology that are using technology for their everyday job tasks. And they don't realize when they get that message that says, download this really cute little app and it'll add this really neat feature. And they don't realize that along with that really cute, neat feature that they've just downloaded comes Trojans, malware, viruses, any number of things. And just to give you an idea, years ago, when I was in the consultancy business, and I would go to doctors' offices and actually build their network from the ground up, one of the biggest things that I had to clean off was something called Bonsai Buddy. If any of you guys remember Bonsai Buddy, that was like a purple gorilla thing, and he would appear in the bottom corner of your desktop. And I can't remember if he would like talk to you or I hate him, so I don't even want to remember him. But people were excited to install him because it was something different to be able to put on their computer, right? And it was really, really exciting, really different. But what they didn't know that was when they were downloading him on that work computer, they were actually installing all kinds of malware and Trojans and viruses and stuff like that. So I can't even tell you how many times I had to clean that stuff off of work computers. And that's why work now, when you work somewhere, they're very reluctant to let you put anything of your own on a computer or download anything from the internet because it's so simple and easy and quick to get viruses and Trojans and stuff like that. And when we talk about a DDoS attack, that's typically because we've got thousands of computers out there where somebody wasn't protecting their computer and they got a little bitty something on their computer, a program that runs, and that program is going to be part of that DDoS attack that's making requests to our builder all servers and saying, hey, can you send me that website? And then send me that website, send me that website, and send me that website. And it's so many requests, it's so fast that it shuts down the servers. But it's thousands of computers that have those bugs in them, and the owners don't even know. They have no clue.
Well,
So,
I know I have another business also. I'm a virtual call center owner. Then I also contract, and I have a contract with Comcast. Comcast, you can't even get on Windows. You have to, I gotta do something right before my Windows come up. I have to go on to their own server. I have to have a USB. I have to go on. Because
you may be working with terminal server, which is one of the things that I did to prevent anybody from downloading anything, was send them into a terminal server, which means they're not even working off of their own local computer. They're just going through a tunnel and going into a different computer, and that's serving up their desktop. So the only thing that their local computer is doing is just opening up another computer and delivering that desktop. And then like I've had many doctors' offices that we would do a refresh. So every night when everything was shut down, the computers would actually just revert back to whatever it was that morning before the business started. And the only thing that didn't change was the physician's database, but everything else went back to the beginning. So if they happened to download any programs or any files or anything, it was wiped clean. And the only thing that wasn't wiped clean was the physician software. And that was to protect for HIPAA laws, to protect against anything being stolen. So it's tough out there, Willie. I'm gonna tell you, it's really tough to keep a clean computer and a clean network and prevent those attacks. It's just, it's actually not possible. They're gonna happen. It's really the proof in the pudding is how do you deal with it?
The thing is that they're so much more sophisticated than we are, because they spend 24 hours a day doing this while we're doing business legitimately, and and it's easy for them to catch you.
They're tricky, and it even happens with email, you guys. I actually went to a physician's office that their server was slowed down, and so I went through the process of troubleshooting to try to figure out why. And a hacker had gotten in and hijacked their email server that was on their network, and he was sending out like thousands and thousands of emails every minute. Well, when it was happening like that, he was spamming people. But when it was happening, it was so many that it was just shutting down the network, because it was so much noise on the network that every other computer just had no priority to be able to get information and do what they needed to do with their physician's office software. So I had to literally go in and clean off what that hacker had done and redo everything, because he had just masterfully hacked in there and was hijacking their email server. So they're smart in what they do, and I don't think you can ever be 100% preventative. But as long as you've got detection and deterrence in there, the detection will tell you if something's going to is happening. Deterrence will deter as much as possible, but it won't be able to deter all of it. The next step is to have a knowledgeable person in place that can check those packets and see what's actually happening and then do something about it. So it's just all a matter of having the right people in place, the right systems in place. And even though it's happening, you can work hard to stop it and then prevent it. Willie?
I got another question. I got another resource. She's a tech, and she's looking for a job.
Good. Put her in touch with Bill Wrong. You never know. You never know. All right, you guys, any other questions about what we've covered so far? All right, tomorrow I will continue to go through chapter 1. We got just through the very beginning of chapter 1, and I want to talk to you more about why we need email marketing in our business. So we'll talk a little bit more about that, and probably on the third day, we'll be jumping into setting up email sequences. What's a good subject line? What are some things you can put in the body to really stimulate them to want to read your stuff? What kind of things can you offer them that will make them want to stay tapped into your emails? We'll start all that probably the third day. So a little bit more talking and working through what is this email thing and why do we need to learn about it. And then the third day, we'll actually jump in there and do some active things, okay?
That chapter thing that you're using, is that yours or is that something that you've got that you can give us?
That is mine. I like that. Builder All Ambassador. Woo-hoo. Yeah, that's actually my document that I will be putting in the resources at the end of the course. So when you're all done, I'll have everything in there that we covered, and then you guys can have it and use it to review, to go through and do training for your own people if you want to, whatever you want to do. Okay. Does that sound good? All right, guys. Well, that's all I wanted to cover today. You guys were fabulous. This is going to be a challenge. I promise we're not going to solve all email problems by going through the 7-day boot camp, because there's just a lot of things going on with email. But I can tell you one thing for sure. I'm going to give you everything I got to help you, and we'll try to figure it out together. All right. So stick with me. No homework tonight except review what we did today. If you want to review the replay. And other than that, we will see each other tomorrow, continue on chapter 1. And you guys have a wonderful, wonderful day. And Dominic, do you have something you want to say before we go?
Yeah, real quick. I love the magazine. When am I going to be able to get my own to edit?
July 4th, buddy. July 4th.
We're hoping that it will be released to you by the end of this week. There's still Yep, there's still some.
Sorry.
So all of you guys, do not hold me to that. Dude, if you don't hold me to that. But I recorded
build-a-walls I could have sold. Oh my God. I could have sold like 5 build-a-walls with that magazine this week alone. I'm sorry.
Well, it's supposed to be by the end of this week, but I turned in a bunch of glitches already today. So if they can fix them quickly, get them, turned around, then it will be released by the end of the week. But hopefully, if they don't do it by the end of this week, they'll do it by the end of next week, because it is so close. It's really close. And it is so awesome, you guys. I mean, flipping awesome. Go ahead, Karen.
You said go through chapter 1, but we're not going to have access to that magazine yet, right? Not until the end?
No, I meant go through the replay.
Okay. You said chapter 1. I was all excited.
I'm sorry. I was like, I can put it up there if you want. It's not pretty though. They're still overlapping, and I need the developers to fix that. But if you want me to pull the PDF and put it up there, I will. Just understand that there's a little overlapping that the developers have to work on.
We accept that. We accept that work in progress, please.
Early adopters.
Okay, then I will put it up there, and you will have it as a resource when I get everything back, when I get everything up on the replay area. Which should be later today. You're welcome.
So, yeah, so now this magazine is live. So like when it's just like a website, so you could actually fix that overlap. We could still have it, and then we'll have a perfect product after, right?
Yes, I'm gonna do it PDF for you guys though, so you can have a copy of it. So that you guys have like a copy. So if you want to like share that with your team or something like that, you want to do your own training, you can actually do that and just use it as a resource. Kind of keep you on track. Yep. Kanan, did you have a question, or were you just waving like, this is so awesome?
No, I have no question, but I am waiting. I'm waiting to see the end of 7th day, and I want to see that my mail is coming to inbox.
You know what? I've got my fingers crossed. I've got my eyes crossed. I've got my toes crossed. And for you, I'm crossing my butt cheeks too. And that's hard. That's really hard to do. So we'll see. We will do our best. But anyway, you guys have an absolutely fabulous day. And I will see you tomorrow. Same bat time, same bat channel. Don't have too much fun without me. Save it for tomorrow. All right, guys.
Good day,
Bye, guys.
Bye. Have a good day.
Bye.